Hey, you miserable fucks. It's been a while. It's time to get serious for a moment. So, I haven't really mentioned this at all, I don't think, but around about this time last year, probably closer to beginning of May, early May, I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. And just to cut to the chase, I'm going to describe the symptoms that I experience just personally. Some people could have it worse, some people could have it a little better, some people could just all out and not even have some of the symptoms I have, but I'll just cut to the chase right now. So, with schizoaffective, basically, the affective part is like a mood disorder, I guess. I honestly have a really big interest in psychology, and I don't think I've researched too much into an affective disorder. This is just what psychologists have told me. An affective disorder is a mood disorder, which can be depression, bipolar, stuff like that. The affective for me is major depression, and the schizo part is basically what schizoaffective is depression for me and schizophrenia mixed in with a bunch of other stuff, like basically the things I experience are major depression, almost generalized anxiety. I'm not like always on edge, or at least not anymore. I've been medicated for quite a long time now. Almost general anxiety, just kind of like they put it on paper as unspecified, which is fine with me. Not that it really matters whether or not it's fine with me. It's just for the means of treatment. Auditory, visual, and tactile hallucinations. Paranoia. Early on, it was delusions, but I've come past the delusions, I feel like, for the most part. And, just general fear of some things. Basically how it was early on was I was hearing things and seeing things, and I was paranoid out the ass. I could not stand people, like, doing as little as staring at me. Now, I still don't like it when people stare at me, which is, kind of, ironic considering how I look. But, you know, it's just how it is. Paranoia and delusions kind of coincided a bit. Basically, it would get as bad as to where I wouldn't go to my girlfriend's house because I felt like her and her parents were conspiring to kill me. And whenever somebody stared at me, if it was around like nighttime, I'd feel like they were like following me home and like watching me through a window or something. And that really you know, that really threw me over the edge. And what affected me during, like, I was coming towards the end of the school year when all this stuff came down. Basically, it also affected my school life. Hold on, I need to turn on the fan. It's getting really hot in here. Basically, the anxiety was a big part that affected my my schoolwork. I would break down, start having panic attacks, couldn't focus. I was too shaky, too overwhelmed, too stressed. I couldn't do my schoolwork whatsoever. Which, I mean, eventually, after my second stay at the mental hospital, they saw it fit for me to just stay home from school for the rest of the year. It wasn't even really like homeschooling. I did maybe like 3 things of schoolwork when during my time not being there. So it wasn't too bad. I would hurt myself every so often intentionally. It wasn't like, you know, cutting myself or anything like that. It was more like I'd scratch my skin off and like bang my head against walls and stuff. But I've moved past that. It's been a while since I've intentionally hurt myself. That was... okay, the last time I got out of the mental hospital was probably maybe May 5th, and at the timestamp right now it's April 24th, so this is around maybe... this was around the first time I got out of the mental hospital, at my first stay, which was to treat major depression. And when I got out, it was major depression with psychotic features. Basically, and now to get to the point, now to get down to the point, like, the reason for me making this video, I am very, very interested in psychology. I study a lot about it on my free time. I look at medical journals and, examples of certain, disorders, whether they're genetic or not, you know, stuff like that, environmental, so on and so on. I really want to get into psychology. I want to study it as a major, and maybe be a therapist, or, you know, a special ed teacher or something. So, I'm hoping that somebody can use this as, you know, a means of, you know, I hope somebody finds it as useful information, because, you know, I want to see that people who are afflicted with the same thing that I am, or something like what I'm going through, even people with, like, depression or something, you know, I want somebody to find it useful, and I want, you know, to use this as a perspective to maybe further treatment, because I wouldn't wish this upon anybody else. It's literally hell. I'm, you know, even even a month after, you know, I was, you know, I'm still kind of a wreck. I haven't been in a mental hospital for close to a year, so, I kind of want to, you know, stay out of a mental hospital, even though they treated me pretty well. But I would still very much like to avoid one at all costs, even though, you know, the food was better there than I've ever had here. But in any case, basically how I am now, I still get hallucinations every so often. Most of what I experience in terms of auditory hallucinations are just jumbled whispers. I can't really make out whatever they say. Or when I do, it's, you know, lucky. It's usually just whispers. In terms of visual hallucinations, I mainly see shadows and stuff out of the corners of my eyes, stuff like that. And maybe, like, you know, stuff flying past me or stuff like that. You know, things crossing my vision. In terms of tactile hallucinations, I don't, you know, a lot of people, when they complain about tactile hallucinations, they feel, you know, bugs running, you know, under their skin, or, you know, they feel bugs on their skin or stuff like that. For me, it's more like this, like somebody grabbing, you know, grabbing a part of my body. And I've experienced it enough to know that it's not like a muscle spasm or something like that, because it just, it doesn't feel like a muscle spasm, and I have I twitch and spaz a lot, so I mean, I know what that stuff feels like. But that stuff doesn't happen very often. But I mean, it's been happening a little bit more often than it should be, and I'm getting that looked at. But it's not really much there. Anxiety, it's manageable, I guess, but it's keeping me from getting a job. Basically, I apply, and then I'll go in to ask about my application, get scared, and then run back out, you know. I'm really afraid of human interaction, which sucks, and I've tried to deal with it. I'm trying my best, honestly, but it's really hard, for most people. When it comes to somebody asking for help, I'm kind of, I'm more than happy to help somebody, whether it's an old lady trying to get up a curb, or, recently I helped, this legless woman in a wheelchair, bought her soda and brought her over to a store that she needed help getting to, stuff like that. When it comes to needing help, I'm there. I like helping people, and it's, that's why I want to become a therapist or, a psychologist of some sort, because I want to help people. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Another thing I get is, my depression is really hard to manage, honestly. I'm not, like, really bad, like, I'm not hurting myself anymore. But, sometimes I feel worthless. Sometimes I wonder what it's like to just jump out my window or something like that. I get intrusive thoughts like that, and it kind of makes me ponder more into it, and sometimes it makes it sound like a good idea, but at least it's manageable to the point where I'm not actually going through with any of it. It stays thought, and I don't contemplate it or anything. So I'm definitely getting better. Basically, I'm on Seroquel, 400 milligrams, and that's for the psychotic stuff and mood management. I'm on Lexapro for antidepressants and Trazodone for sleep aid. I don't know if the schizoaffective problem has anything to do with my insomnia, but yeah, I do have to have a sleep aid or else I'm not going to go to sleep. So that's another thing. One thing that I do notice that the treatment has helped, at least with the meds, has been I used to have really bad restless legs, and I could not keep my legs still. So whatever's going on with the chemicals in my head is definitely helping that, which I'm glad, because I used to be very aware that my leg was moving nonstop, and I just couldn't do anything about it. I do get paranoid. Like I said, I still don't like it when people stare at me. Honestly, it makes me really uneasy. It doesn't matter who's... Well, babies are like the only exception to that. And maybe some kids, but like with adults just staring at me, it makes me scared and it pisses me off a little bit. Like, there has to be somewhere else your eyes could be going, even though I look fucking stupid sometimes. But I don't know, it's just a me thing. What else is there? On the good side, the delusions have basically gone away. As far as I know. For all I know, whatever I might thinking could be a delusion. I don't know this stuff. That's one of the reasons why it's a delusion, because I perceive it as truth and it's not truth, but, you know, I consider myself a pretty rational person, so, you know, I don't think that anything that I'm thinking is, you know, a delusion, but, you know, I could be wrong. I'll leave it up to the professionals. And, I'm pretty sure if anybody who needs this, information for something, I suppose I can give some information about myself, aside from, you know, what I've already stated. My YouTube age is probably gonna, you know, show me as like 27 or something. I made this account when I was like 11, so I was lying about my age. When I was 11, I put 1990, and so that was 18 at the time. So, yeah, but I'm 19. I graduated class of 2015 with a standard diploma. Graduated my class, surprisingly, because I was about to not do that, but I did. I currently don't have a job. My main source of income is, you know, like, allowance, and then I mow the lawn for an extra 20. I guess, I occupy my time with video games and interacting with people. I want to do some volunteer work with something, but not if I don't like it. And I am currently trying to find a job, but it's hard. So I really hope this information is, you know, useful for somebody. You know, maybe somebody else has a problem like this, and if you want to talk about, you know, what you're going through and stuff like that, I'm all ears. Let's have a conversation, because honestly, it'll probably help me out, make me feel less alone, because I haven't come across many schizophrenics on the internet. Or in real life, really. I only know, like, maybe 2 other schizophrenics, and that's it. So, yeah, that's basically it. I'm running on 20 minutes now, so I really don't want to, you know, let you sit here while I ramble, because I've already rambled enough. So, this has been the first video I've done forever, so, yeah, see ya.